feeling when there was a party, on a night, and I was really tired and kind of didn't want to go. But I thought, well, what if my husband's there? What if the whole point of this party is that I meet him and I'm going to be home watching reruns? And we have to take ourselves out of that because it's crazy, right? I mean, what if your husband right now is in Tavern on the Square watching the Bruins play and you decided to come here, right, in Mass Exodus? I think if God had wanted you to meet that guy tonight, we would all be over there, or at least you would be. And so you have to give that up to remain sane, because otherwise, how do you make choices about what to do, especially in a city like Cambridge that makes so many demands on your evenings, where taking a night for yourself to just stay home and read a book and paint your toenails or stare at the wall, that actually feels like a sacrifice on a lot of levels here. If you add on top of that the whole, well, I could miss meeting my husband, then you're just in crazy land. Yeah, so put yourself out there, but no. Like, I would say live life. Do things that sound genuinely fun, and do a few things that sound totally boring, just because I think it's good for our character. But don't do it with sort of this overhanging thing like, I could meet him tonight, because it makes you a little insane. And every guy you look at, you'll be like, are you him? And if a guy doesn't look like him, it could be him's brother. And so you totally blew off a conversation with this guy, and it turns out it's your husband's brother, and God had this big thing, but you were too verklempt to make it work. Yeah, just gotta dial down. And you know what? Let's practice saying that to ourselves. And I want the hand, dial down. Say that to each other. Say it to yourself. You can do it low. Like if you're, in a public space, you can just be like, it is a good reminder. Again, that will serve you throughout your life. Yeah.
I discovered recently about this question: should I pursue? I think it's huge, just because in pop culture, I mean, they say you should pursue the guy, and I've been having this budding fear as I get older that when I do get married, he has to watch me get old and get fat when I get pregnant, and I'm really scared about that. And I'm scared to not be attractive to the guy that I'm going to be with forever. And I don't really want to get to know someone that well. Except, maybe separate bedrooms sometimes. But I don't think that's really feasible. So I realized that the way to guarantee that this guy is going to love me even when I look ugly is if he pursued me. The way to relax about that is when I am sitting there uber pregnant, I can be like, look, you signed up for this, go get me some pickles because I want them. And that was sort of that kind of eases that fear a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you include God in the process of your dating, you're by definition including him in the process of your marriage. And so it's supernatural that men stay attracted to us as we grow less and less attractive. It's supernatural that a man looks at his pregnant wife, because frankly, ladies, we do not look good pregnant. Especially if you're the whole thing. And they look and they think, oh, you're so beautiful. You're more beautiful than you've ever been. And I think that is the work of God down through man. And giving him eyes that see things differently. And I think that's one of the promises in the Bible. It says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Meaning that God will give the man who's supposed to pursue you eyes that just hone in on you and say, oh, she's for me. And I'm going to move heaven and earth to make that happen. And you do not want to be dating Mr. Right now when Mr. Right's eyes hone in on you, right? Mm-hmm. One of the prayers, and we'll do this at the end, I don't even know where I got this. I started taking Proverb 31. There's a description of the wife of noble character that I think has gotten a sound beating by Christian culture over time, and I want to reclaim it because I think it's solid. Because what it is, it's a promise of the life we can have and the wives we can be. And we don't do it through our own strength. It's not that we can be any of these things on our own. It's that somehow God working in us and our husband will bring stuff out of us utterly different and better, and you just think, who is this woman that's doing these things and pulling these things off? And so I think we can take a lot of hope in these promises that the wife we can envision ourselves being now is not the wife God will give us the capacity to be if we stay on the God track. We want to stay close to God in this. And on a completely different note, I agree with you about the bathrooms. One of my principles going into marriage was that I did not want to be going to the bathroom with my husband in the room. I just thought, and vice versa, and I stand by that now. It is not in the Bible. That is just Trish's thought on one aspect of marriage. You get a lot closer than you think you'll be in a lot of areas, but I do think doors are an excellent thing whenever you can use them strategically. So I'll just put that out there. I think it's okay to not want complete openness about everything. We may edit that right out of the video. But I just wanted to put it out there. Anything else on pursuing?
Just to double check. So, number 4, attraction versus promotion means being attracted to each other rather than putting yourself out there.
Attraction versus promotion, what I meant by that, that's actually the slogan of a 12-step recovery program that is anonymous. And I remember when I heard about that, they said, yeah, we don't advertise, we don't do billboards, like we figure people will hear what we have to offer and they'll want it. And that will be enough to get them here the first time. And then they'll either realize this is something they want, or it's not, and we're not going to chase people down. And I thought, that's a really good strategy for dating. Each of us, and we talked the first night we gathered, for those of you who were here, we said, what do you bring to the table? Know what you offer. Not because you have to run out and make slogans and, bumper stickers, but so you know deep inside. And so I think if you know what you offer, you can just say, well, if God made me this way, there's something attractive about it. I don't need to be out there in the super tight t-shirt and showing my thumbs and out of my jeans or doing anything to sort of get a guy's attention. I've got to trust that what's in me will be attractive. And I'll tell you, looking around this room, you guys are attractive women. The enemy, the kingdom of evil will try to tell you differently. They will try to tell you, Satan will try to tell you that you're not attractive, that you don't look like what's in the magazine. Well, what's in the magazine are counterfeits. Those women don't even look like that. And I'm not against women's magazines. I think, they're mostly neutral. It's what we do with them internally that causes all the trouble. And so I think, we've got the power of the living God inside of us to say, well, yeah, I look beautiful even if I don't look like that. That's one woman on a random Tuesday in LA. I'm here every day, living my life, trying to listen to God, and there's going to be something inherently attractive about that. I don't need to promote it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what I want to get to, because we're running out of time, I want to talk about baseball, because it always comes up. And by baseball, I mean, remember when you were a little kid and you first learned about physicality of relationships, and you could go to first base, which is kissing, and second base, which was a little lower, third base, which is a little lower, and then I remember being horrified by what a home run was. I was like, no, people do that? And then my understanding grew over the years. Because I think this is a big question in Christian dating, right? It's a big question in dating generally, or at least it was, when I was growing up. It's gotten to be less so now. I think now the prevailing cultural attitude is it's part of getting to know each other. Maybe as I read somewhere that you maybe text each other, then you sleep together, and then you exchange email addresses.